Before I say what I do and don't like about this Brian Robinson trade, let me just say that it was 100% my idea, and I'm just flattered that the 49ers liked it. What's up? Good morning. I'm Grant Cohn. We're talking about Brian Robinson Jr. today, the newest 49er. This is really where 49ers front office and quality control merge and make the team a lot better, because the Niners have a lot of good things in their organization, but they've been really ignoring quality control for some time. But now, not anymore. We are in lockstep. And now I think this is a team that actually might be able to win 8 games this year. That's a big step. So let's talk about why this was absolutely 100% necessary. But first, I want to talk about why I didn't stream yesterday. I had an off day yesterday. It was my day off. I don't get many of those. So early in the week, I scheduled a tea time at Chabot in Oakland, the Chabot golf course, 8:20. This happened at like 8:45. So I got a solid, I didn't even see it till the 4th hole. So I made my little instant reaction on the 7th, and the whole thing messed up my round. I was going to do great. And I just, I had packed in so many things to do on my day off. People to see. You never how you have like a tight schedule of relaxation. Man, I have to have fun today. I have to do all the things. And it was really stressful. I didn't have time to do this. So I'm here at 6:45 in the morning on the Pacific, because I was awake, and I make a little video. I'm like, why don't I just go live for the people? I shot a 97 in your face, Don J. I shot a 97. I have witness. So I figured, let's talk about it now, all right? Why the Niners had to trade for Brian Robinson Jr. This was not the plan. When the Niners traded Jordan Mason to the Vikings, they weren't thinking like, just wait until August 22nd when the Commanders inevitably want to give away Brian Robinson Jr. for nothing, and then we'll get him. And that wasn't the plan. I don't think it's a coincidence that they made this trade the day after Isaac Guerendo fumbled 3 times in one practice. I've never seen anything like it. It happened 3 times in one practice. There were a lot of witnesses there. I think this move, more than anything, is in reaction to him. Because when the Niners traded Jordan Mason this offseason, they were so confident about it, they felt they didn't need Mason anymore because they had Isaac Guerendo. And he was going to take the next step. He was the next Raheem Mostert. In addition, they had Patrick Taylor Jr., who was the next Jordan Mason. I think they really talked themselves into Patrick Taylor Jr. being something. I don't know why the Niners are so down on Jordan Mason. They think he's so overrated and replaceable. Isn't that pretty clear? Kyle does. Bobby Turner might even. So Patrick Taylor Jr. can be the tough, bruising running back. Well, that lasted 9 carries. That didn't work. He's out for the year. And then Jordan James, also supposed to be that. I mean, he's half the size of Jordan Mason. He's hurt too. Maybe he'll be good. I don't know. He's just been hurt most of the offseason. Doesn't seem like he's going to be tearing it up as a rookie, although he might. Then there's Corey Kiner, who looked good too, but he's hurt. So all the plans at backup running back fell apart. All of them. But most importantly, Guerendo. I think this is more than anything a referendum on him. The Niners didn't do anything. Patrick Taylor Jr. went down. No problem. We have Jeff Wilson Jr. It's all right. Because the plan was week 1, they would have Christian McCaffrey and Isaac Guerendo, their 1-2 punch. That's good. That was the plan all along. But I think at this point, after what Guerendo has shown you this offseason, he had flashes as a rookie. You were hoping he would improve this year, take it to the next level. Well, he hasn't. He missed 2 weeks with a shoulder injury. I mean, fair. And then he comes back and looks, I don't know, terrible or disengaged. He doesn't look like a guy who could carry the offense, carry the running game if Christian McCaffrey went down, which is sort of what you need, right? Christian McCaffrey doesn't really split carries, but he does miss time from time to time. He has in his career. So you need a guy who can really carry the load. And you know what? Jordan Mason had injury issues too. So it's unclear if he could do that. But he's not going to be asked to carry the load in Minnesota. He's going to be in a timeshare with Aaron Jones. Garendo would have had to carry the load for the 49ers for a few games if McCaffrey goes down. So now they have a guy who actually can do that in Brian Robinson Jr. Brian Robinson Jr. is an NFL running back. I don't know that you can say that about Isaac Garendo. I'm not sure what Isaac Garendo is. He's like Cordell Patterson. He's a gadget player. And he could get you some big plays on screens or the occasional handoff, but is he really durable enough? Is his vision good? Does he run too upright? I don't think he's Raheem Mostert. And Raheem Mostert wasn't Raheem Mostert until he was about 28, 29 years old. It took him a while to figure out how to play running back in the system in the NFL. So now you have an NFL running back behind Christian McCaffrey. I think that's important because if the Niners were to go into week 1 with Garendo as their backup, if you go into the season with nothing behind Christian McCaffrey, knowing his injury history and the likelihood that he's going to miss some time this year, how serious are you really about this year? What are you telling your team and your fan base? Hey, look, all of our backup running backs are either hurt or bad, but it's okay. We got Jeff Wilson Jr. So you're one injury away to your injury-prone 29-year-old running back from the whole season falling apart, from the wheels falling off. Like, why? You have $45 million in cap space. Running backs are a dime a dozen. You could get Brian Robinson Jr. for a 6th-round pick and pay him like $3 million. Why would you not do that? If you don't do that, it makes me question how committed you are to 2025. Is this all about 2026? You have $45 million in cap space, but you got to save it for 2026. You have a bunch of injured players, but you can't trade. All you can do is sign Jeff Wilson Jr. and trade for Skyy Moore. That's not going to do anything. Now you got a starting running back. I think this is huge for not just like the state of the team, but the perception of the team. Show me you're not tanking. Show me you care about 2025. That because it really feels like up until this trade that the Niners' attitude was, hey, if everything goes well and we stay healthy, we could be good. But if one person goes down, we'll have every excuse we need and we won't be that good. But we're going to tell you right now, hey, we're preparing to take some lumps. So don't freak out. Nah, you don't get to do that in year 9 of a tenure. A coach can do that in year 1 or 2. That's it. You did that in 2017 and 2018. You adjusted our expectations, and then you put together a good team. All these problems that you have on your roster right now are self-inflicted. You built this team. You didn't inherit this. This is year 9. So you don't get to tank after tanking last year. You lost, 7 of your last 8? You can't do that this year. The wheels cannot fall off. You gotta make this work. You got to pull a Mike Tomlin this year, Kyle Shanahan. You got to find a way to win 10 games. 9 is unacceptable. You got to find a way. You got the easiest schedule in the league. No one is giving you sympathy here, buddy. You got Brock Purdy. He's here. He's paid. He's healthy. So, yeah, I think you absolutely had to do this to show that you're preventing the wheels from falling off. This team is teetering. They have so many injuries. They don't have depth, but all their key players are basically healthy except for Ayuk. But if George Kittle goes down, you're in trouble. But, I mean, there's no tight end you can get to back him up. You already tried to get that with Luke Farrell. Christian McCaffrey, the running back spot, that was almost like you knew you needed a better – like Jordan Mason might not even be a good enough backup for what you need for Christian McCaffrey, considering you need a guy who can be a starter. Jordan Mason's going to be like a part-time thunder and lightning duo in Minnesota. You need a guy who can carry the ball 20 times when Christian's not out. And you went for Garendo and Patrick Taylor Jr. and Jordan James. And at the very end, you were hoping that Corey Kiner could save you. All right. Well, at least you got a serviceable average, which is what look, Washington didn't want him. They had him for 3 years. He averaged 4.1 yards per carry, which is below average. He's getting replaced by Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt, a undrafted rookie who looks good, but he's not special. But he is durable, reliable, alive. I mean, healthy, available, those things. Better than nothing. Honestly, better than Garendo. Jeremy Price says, morning, bro. B-Rob will help the load management. He is the load management. Sold by Ezio says, babe, wake up. Grant is live. My first live stream this season. Did you miss me, Grant? I did. I always do. This is for my East Coast peeps out here. Tom Cruise 49 says, you called it. Broken clock are right twice a day. JK, what do you hope to see in today's game? Will you say what's up to Lance and Harbaugh if you see them? I am. I'm not going to say what's up to Harbaugh. He doesn't remember me. But I'm going to go up and say what's up to Lance for sure. Yeah, that's the plan. Lillant says, Niner fans think these two trades will help. I don't think we understand how bad our O-line is minus TW. No depth. This team has 5-12 written all over it. That's why I think this trade is important. Not the Skyy Moore one, but the Niners need to sort of insulate themselves. Like, you have some terrible backups this year, and you know it. You've seen them. So you keep signing wide receivers because Kyle loves it. He's a wide receiver enthusiast. It's good to finally bring in a running back as well. It's important. So let's talk about this one. I thought this was interesting. Niners trade for Brian Robinson. Everyone likes the trade. How could you not like the trade? They made themselves better. They didn't have to give up that much. They needed a running back. It's a no-brainer. Absolutely great. We had content creators all over YouTube and Twitter urging the Niners to make this move. They did. Super no-brainer. And then you have people going the next step. Because it's not enough to just say, you know what, the Niners made a no-brainer smart move. Good. You got to take it. There's always a competition to say who can say the nicest thing about the team, who can be the most positive. Because you got to remember, journalism these days is just a quest for who can get the most likes. And the easiest way to get a lot of likes is to say that a team did something amazing. You want that fan base to like your thing. Tell them that not only was this a good trade, yeah, anyone knows that, but it's actually way better than if the Niners had just kept Jordan Mason. Is Brian Robinson Jr. better than Jordan Mason? Read my 5,000-word thought piece. Listen to my 3-hour podcast that Brian Robinson Jr. might be even better than Jordan Mason. That's the next step. That actually, this is 4D chess. And the Niners were planning this out all along. We'll trade Jordan Mason to Minnesota, and then we'll use that pick to draft Marquise Siegel, who we're going to let. We could take Marquise Siegel in round 2, 3, or 4, but we're going to take him at the end of round 5 because we know he's going to be a future All-Pro. But we also want to take. We don't want to reach for him, but we know he's great. So we're going to trade Jordan Mason for Marquise Siegel. We're going to draft Jordan James. We're going to elevate Patrick Taylor Jr. and Isaac Guerrero, just to confuse people, just to get people looking left when at the last minute, boom, out of right field, Brian Robinson Jr. He was our target the whole time. We just needed to wait until August 22nd. And now we're better because Brian Robinson Jr. runs better routes, blocks better. And he does. He's a better blocker than Jordan Mason. He's a better route runner than Jordan Mason. But you know what? He's not a better player than Jordan Mason. He's not. Brian Robinson Jr. is the epitome of average. He's average at everything, which is wonderful. That makes him better than Isaac Guerrero at most things. Is he going to get you more than you blocked for? No, not really. Is he going to get you less than you blocked for? No, not really. But is he super explosive? No. Does he run really angry? No. Does he break lots of tackles? Not really. That's the thing. He averaged 4.3 yards per carry last year in a backfield with Jaden Daniels. That's not easy to do. That's Tevin Coleman stuff. Not to downgrade Brian Robinson Jr. I mean, I'm just saying there's a reason why the Commanders were dying to get to upgrade because he doesn't really have much juice. You'd like your running back to put the fear of God into the other team. Like when Christian McCaffrey was at his peak, and still maybe this year too, you hand the ball to Christian McCaffrey, the other team's like, damn, I really wish you hadn't done that. This is terrifying. And with Jordan Mason, I think there's some of that too. Man, this guy, how many players in the NFL run harder than Jordan Mason? There's a reason he averages 5.2 yards per carry. Because he's a really good ball carrier. Runs hard, good vision, decisive, angry, powerful, explosive, has juice. He's going to be really good for Minnesota this year. Brian Robinson isn't those things, which is why, the Niners got a 5th for Jordan Mason and Commanders got a 6th for Brian Robinson Jr. He's just not quite as dangerous. So is it possible the Niners upgraded though? Like maybe if Jordan James ends up being good, then you could say that this is a better move because Mason is better than Brian Robinson. But if Jordan James is good, then that's kind of tips the scales because the Niners could have had Siegel one way or the other. If they hadn't traded Jordan Mason, they could have taken Siegel with the Jordan James pick and had Mason and Siegel. And people are talking about Siegel like he's some 5-year vet. Like he's had 2 good preseason games. He tackles well. We don't know that much about Siegel yet. Like we don't even know if he can stay healthy. We'll see. He was hurt early in the offseason. So no, I think that's a bit of an overreaction that somehow the Niners were planning this all along and this was like really astute. This is really good process by them. No, this was reactive. I do think the Niners are, I'm not saying panicking, but this was not the plan. The plan was not to start trading picks in 2026 and 2027 to fill holes at the end of August. The plan was for Isaac Guerrero to take the next step and for Patrick Taylor Jr. to replace that bruising, overrated skill set that Jordan Mason provided and people like me fell in love with. I think that's how little the Niners thought of Jordan Mason. They thought that Patrick Taylor Jr. could do 85% of what Mason did. Well, no, and neither with Guerrero. So those didn't work out. And Jordan James, you don't know, and Corey Kiner's out for a while. So this is what you have to do. It's a reactive move. It's a good move. It's a good move. But I still think the better move would have been never trading Jordan Mason. But again, Jordan Mason, he gets hurt. He's not the best receiver. He's not the best blocker. He does one thing, but he does it really, really well. And Brian Robinson does nothing really, really well. He's solid. It's good to have a solid back. And again, this was my idea, 100%. All Niners says, does Kyle put CMC in the slot more this year, especially with the lack of depth at wide receiver? That's a good question. Let's talk about how the Niners will use Brian Robinson Jr. and, by proxy, how they'll use Christian McCaffrey. Will they use them together? Here's my thing. This wasn't the plan. Again, the plan wasn't to just trade for Brian Robinson Jr. He's here to fill holes. So are the Niners going to do things differently because Brian Robinson Jr. is on the team? Are they going to play 2 running backs on the field at the same time? They wouldn't do it with McCaffrey and Mason. Are they going to do it now because they have Brian Robinson Jr.? I don't think so. Kyle doesn't change much. I don't think he's going to change for Brian Robinson Jr. Is Christian McCaffrey suddenly going to split carries for the first time in his career? He's never split carries. Maybe he split carries as a rookie, but he's been a high usage running back whenever he's been out there. You know why? Because he won't come off the field. The coaches have talked about it. He will wave you off. You would have to physically drag him off the field or yell very loudly. And it doesn't seem like the Niners have any type of control over that. They don't seem to want the smoke with Christian. I've never seen them yell at him or tell him that he can't do whatever he wants to do. So I think this whole running back room is at his mercy. Is he healthy? And when he is, how much does he want to play? Is he at the stage in his career where he wants to rotate and sort of preserve himself? Or is he at the stage in his career where he realizes he's probably not going to get another big extension? And so now is the time to make his case for Canton. Because if he kind of slides into this complimentary role at 29, he's definitely not getting in the Hall of Fame. But if he bounces back this year and has another season where he goes for 2,000 yards from scrimmage, all of a sudden he might have a bit of a case. So to me, I don't expect I don't expect his role to change at all. I don't expect the coaches to be any more bold telling him to come off the field, and I don't expect him to want to come off the field. So to me, I don't think Brian Robinson Jr. is going to do much unless McCaffrey's out. He might get a couple carries a game when McCaffrey lets him, but that's it. I don't think they're going to be having McCaffrey in the slot a lot. I haven't seen that in camp. I think it's going to be the same offense we've been seeing for the last few years. And I think they think that McCaffrey can stay healthy. And I think McCaffrey thinks that he can stay healthy. And now if he gets hurt, they have another starting running back who's at least serviceable. Does that sound far-fetched to you guys? I watched all the training camp. I think McCaffrey is intent on showing that he's back, that he's the offensive player of the year again, not 29-year-old easing into retirement. Hey, Brian Robinson, I just had one carry. Why don't you spell me? I don't think we're going to see that this year. So this brings me back to my fantasy football team. Brian Robinson Jr. is on it. I am in a dynasty league. I haven't played in 15 years, but this is a dynasty league that I started. I didn't start. Sunil So Real, who I've streamed with before, started it. Jesse Naylor is in it. Marco Martinez is in it. So some heavy hitters. Of course, I have Brian Robinson Jr. and Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. Oh yeah. So this was just when I said that the Niners should trade for Brian Robinson, this was really just to help my fantasy team. But the thing is, I don't think Brian Robinson is going to play much. So I'm going to have to put him to the bench, put Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt into the flex. But if McCaffrey ever goes down, I'm prepared. You know who else is on my team? Jordan James. Because I don't. Because you know why? It's not personal. I like Christian. He liked my fit, I think. He's a running back. We have data, years of it. It's just not looking great. But you know what? He's healthy now. And the Niners have Brian Robinson Jr., who I told him to get. And I'm really happy about this. I think it's a great move. No downside. How you like that? All right. Should we talk about Skyy Moore? They also made a trade for Skyy Moore. Wow. So Brian Robinson Jr. is actually pretty good. You can hand him the ball. You could throw him the ball. You could ask him to block. He could do all those things at a serviceable level. Then there's Skyy Moore, the newest wide receiver on the 49ers. What he does at an acceptable level is harder to pinpoint. He is fast, for sure. But it's how he uses the speed is the question. Do you want to throw him the ball? He's not a great route runner. So you have to sort of scheme him open. And is he worth it? I mean, it's not like he's Ricky Pearsall or Deebo Samuel. Like, do you really want to call plays for him on offense when he might just mess them up? Because the thing about him is, once you do get the ball in his hands, which isn't always easy, he's a fumble waiting to happen. As a punt returner, he was originally a punt returner with the Chiefs, and the Chiefs have a great special teams coach. He fumbled 3 times and lost those fumbles in 14 attempts. So they stopped letting him do that. And then they let Kadarius Toney be their punt returner. And Kadarius Toney's a legitimately awful NFL player. Really bad. But better than Skyy Moore, apparently. So when we ask the question, how will the 49ers use Skyy Moore? I think the answer is hopefully not at all. But it becomes a little complicated because they did trade a pick for him. Now it's like what? It was a pick swap in 2027. So it's almost like they got him for free, but they didn't. They had to give up a pick for him down the line. And so that seems to me like you can't just cut him. You have to give him the ball one time. If he never touches the ball, then you just threw away a draft pick out of desperation because you needed bodies. And you could say, well, it's just a 7th round pick. Brock Purdy, just a 7th round pick. You could get a top 7 quarterback in the league, in the world, Craig, with a 7th round pick. Jawan Jennings. I'm just saying. Can't be throwing away draft picks no matter how late they are, no matter how far down the line they are. So they got to use Skyy Moore, don't they? They got to use Skyy Moore at some point, which is terrifying to me. Do you think he will play enough to fumble this year? Do you think he's their starting punt returner? Is that the plan? It was Junior Bergen so underwhelming that they traded for Skyy Moore at it's possible. You got to use him somehow. Oh, I really hope he plays in the preseason game tonight. That's what I want to see in the preseason game tonight. What I want to see in the preseason game tonight is Skyy Moore. Every play. Hand off to Skyy, pass to Skyy, screen to Skyy. Skyy's in at quarterback. Skyy's doing the Statue of Liberty play. Skyy passed it to himself. Skyy's in its gunner, punt returner, kicker. I need to know what he can do. Skyy Moore game. I'm excited. He's fast. You know who can't play in this game tonight? Better not play in this game tonight? Brian Robinson Jr. If they get Brian Robinson Jr. hurt, oh my God. They have this tonight needs to be the Jeff Wilson Jr. show. Him and Keshawn Vaughn, every carry, over and over and over again. Because you know who we don't need to see? Carter Bradley. You know what sucks? Is that the Niners can't even really evaluate their wide receivers because their quarterbacks are Carter Bradley and Tanner Mordecai. And when they get a little bored of those two, they bring in Nate Sudfeld just to mix it up, spice things up, because he's even worse. Why do the Niners have such a fascination with awful mid quarterbacks who can't play in the NFL? Haven't we seen enough? You've cut Tanner Mordecai 11 times. What more? Just because he knows your system, you bring him back? Doesn't that say something about your system? If it keeps leading you back to the guy you keep cutting? I feel like Tanner Mordecai is like the drunk text at 2 in the AM. Like, man, stop it. Delete the number. You feel awful about yourself every time. Don't. You didn't go out tonight intending to call up Tanner Mordecai, but you did at 2 a.m. Don't. It's not good for you. It's not good for Tanner. Tanner needs to move on. You need to move on. It's not a healthy dynamic. I'm just saying. Tanner Mordecai. Great name. That's what I'm going to be watching tonight. Skyy Moore. No, that's not true. You know who was a third string quarterback once upon a time? Brock Purdy. There was a time that the Niners had Brock Purdy, Sam Darnold, and Trey Lance on the same team. On the same team. Now they have Carter Bradley and Tanner Mordecai on the same team. I understand having one of them on a. How do you have them both? Do you think the Niners have long meetings like who's better, Carter Bradley or Tanner Mordecai? I think it's Tanner Mordecai. No, man, it's Carter Bradley. No. Tanner has potential. No. Carter. How do you have, are those the two most Caucasian names of all time, Tanner and Carter? There's something about the ER at the end of the name that makes it real. Tucker. Tanner. And I say this as a Caucasian, nothing against Caucasians, you know what I'm saying? But like, if you really want to drive the point home that your kid is called Trevor. Can we name the full list of names? Carter, such a good one. Tanner, that's the best. Tanning things. What are you tanning? I like that your name is just like, I don't really have a name. I just do things. I'm a man of action. Reacher. I just do things. I love that. I'm naming my kid something with an ER at the end of his name. If I ever have a kid. Tanner. Frisco says, was Kyle threatened by Mason because nothing in Kyle's offense worked and Kyle pushed to have CMC paid after never using Mason? It never seemed like they liked Mason. They were like, well, he doesn't know. He doesn't do well in the tests. He doesn't know his assignments. All right, man. He's a running back. You hand him the ball. He runs for 5.5 yards. Is that a problem? There's no room. There's no room for that. Hey, man, you can't just be running for 5.5 yards per carry on our team. On our team, there's a way to do that. You can't just be running for 5.5 yards per carry. All right. That's not going to fly around here. I would make a special exception for the guy who runs for 5.5 yards per carry. Hey, man, like, you don't really get what we're trying to do. And there's only certain things that you can do, but we're going to let you do that one thing sometimes because you're hella good at it. No, that's not how they work around here. I'm just saying. All day, every day, Kim says, Grant, Kyle doesn't know how to evaluate or develop the quarterback position correctly. This is too easy, equals no Super Bowl victories. And it kind of does separate him from other so-called offensive gurus around the league. he doesn't really seem to have a good feel for this position. Although he can definitely find the Robbie Chosens of the world. So, and the Brian Thomases. He said, let me find the next Raheem Mostert and got Isaac Guerrero. Gave him number 31. Yeah. Because Raheem Mosterts are just all over the place. That story happens twice. Who else do the Niners need another version of? They should just get another Christian McCaffrey. No problem. They need another Brock. They should get another Brock. 7th round pick, easy. Maybe Tanner can be the next Brock. Do you think Curtis Rourke is the next Brock? I think Curtis Rourke. Do you think that he's going to get activated in the next few weeks and then he's going to be the backup? Do you think that was the plan the whole time? Do you think that Carter Bradley and Tanner Mordecai are going to get replaced by Curtis soon? Hopefully. Curtis is out there. He seems locked in. All right, guys, that's my show. I only had a half an hour. I didn't want to do it with anyone else because I don't like talking to other people anymore. I just want to talk to myself, by myself, for myself. All right. Have a great day. Are the Niners playing tonight? Oh, my goodness. I'll be back tonight. They play at 5. Game's over at 8. I'll probably be up like 10 o'clock, 10:30, doing my instant reaction. Did I go to El Farolito? I've been to El Farolito. It's delicious. Yeah. Hell yeah. Can we talk about how bad Jair Brown is? Bad. We can't play bad. Like, he's the weakest link. If he's on the field, he's getting torched week 1. So I don't think he will be. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. And I'll be back. See ya.